In this video, we're going to be talking about Man City and what's recently been going on with them in terms of the financial breaches, the charges, etc.
Are Manchester City finished? They've been hit with 100 breaches. This could lead to points deductions. This could lead to titles having to go back. This could lead to relegation.
Yeah, obviously the implications and the consequences of the financial breaches are very severe. Obviously, yeah, if they do get points deducted, obviously they're in a title race with my team Arsenal at the minute. So if they do get those points deducted, it's going to be a bit peak for them. Some people are saying they're going to get relegated. If that happens, that's mad. I couldn't imagine City in the Championship.
Basically, were founded in 2009. There was a football club called Man City, and then it became what it is now. It's been domination of the football scene in the Premier League.
When the oil money came, they've just become a juggernaut of the Prem, winning titles after titles, especially in the last 5 years, I would say. You know, they won back-to-back titles in 2018 and 2019, then back-to-back titles in 2021 and 2022, and they're still in a title race this season at the time of recording this vid. They have been an extremely strong team because of the money coming in from the owners, etc.
Man City have barely existed a decade as a big football club, and yet they generate revenue. Yet we watch them week in, week out, and they struggle to fill their ground.
Yeah, obviously the Etihad Stadium is notoriously called the Empty Hat because, yeah, a lot of the time City fans, it's questioned where they are, you know, if they're at the stadium or not. Because, yeah, a lot of the times the ground can be empty. And, yeah, that is a bit strange considering the success they've had in recent years. You'd expect the turnout to be a lot more than it sometimes is at the stadium.
To me, Man City always felt like, even from 2009, it's always felt like they want to get there quick. They want to get there quick, and they'll get there quick. And I would not be surprised if these breaches were true.
Yeah, obviously, money is seen as a way to increase the growth and progress of a football club. If you inject money into the club, all of a sudden you can buy all these superstar players, get these massive big money signings to help bolster your team. And City obviously we've seen them splash the cash on numerous players in recent years, particularly defenders, Ruben Dias, Cancelo, etc. And yeah, obviously the success that they've accrued over the past 5, 10 years has been huge. The money from the owners has been a big part of that. So it could be the case where these financial charges are true. It could also be false. I mean, obviously there's a whole thing of innocent until proven guilty. I think City have been charged with like financial fair play stuff or accused of breaking financial fair play in the past. So this may happen again. Will they be charged? Only time will tell.
I was watching Happy Valley on the BBC last night, and this guy goes in his kid's bedroom and he had Man City bed covers and everything, and it just looked wrong because it's forced. The whole Man City concept is forced. Why does Pep Guardiola constantly talk about, the atmosphere at Man City? Because he knows it is manufactured.
Yeah, to be fair, I have said for time, I'd say Man City are the definition of pay to win. The money that they've had from the owners in recent years that they've injected into the club has what has brought them so much success in terms of domestic trophies, the Premier Leagues, the FA Cups, the Carabao Cups, etc.
They're bigger than they were 10 years ago, but their revenues and their expenditure has been like their Real Madrid. Whereas realistically, you can't do that.
I guess the point Mark Goldbridge was making there was obviously, yeah, 15 years ago, Man City were not really as big back in 2008. But then ever since Aguero came, as well as the new owners, etc., and all that money, their expenditure has massively risen all of a sudden. And it's risen to such a massive degree, such a massive extent that they're now on par with Real Madrid, who are, in my opinion, probably the biggest club in world football, probably top three, definitely at least. So the fact that their expenditure has risen so exponentially after the new owners have come in, I think that's where the charges lie.
They get these new owners, they're suddenly buying all these players, they're suddenly winning all these titles, and it's just like, how did it happen? How has it happened? How has it been allowed to happen?
I guess Goldbridge there was alluding to the fact that obviously, yeah, the whole financial breach thing is due to how City, ever since they had those owners, they've been spending so much, achieved a lot of success, titles, trophies, etc. And now the question is, how are they able to spend that much money without it really being looked into up until now? Because the charges go back all the way back to, I believe, 2009. From 2009 to 2018, over 9 years. All these years of City spending an obscene amount of money is now finally properly being investigated.
It's ridiculous money, and a ridiculous growth for a team that doesn't feel like loads of people support it or like watching it.
Yeah, the rise in income and expenditure of Manchester City over this past decade has obviously been rapid, and I guess Goldbridge there was saying the fact that their fans, they've not got that global fan base in comparison to the other clubs, and yet they're still, like I said, bringing in all this revenue, all this income, and it's increased so much that is a bit sus, something that ought to be looked into further.
We know Man City will throw a lot of money at it. Of course, they had the UEFA charge that they, were cleared of, so they could clear their name completely.
Yeah, I think Man City a couple of years ago were charged by UEFA, and the punishment was them being banned from the Champions League, as in they weren't allowed to play in that competition the following season, which is obviously a huge thing, because obviously no Champions League football means you're not really getting as much revenue in from playing in that competition. But obviously, yeah, they were cleared of that charge. A lot of people believe they paid to get cleared because they just have the fat stacks. Yeah, and I guess people are speculating that again, they're probably going to do the same thing here, once again, pay their way
If
out.
they haven't done things wrong, things will carry on as normal. They'll keep winning Premier League titles, and everything will carry on, and that could well happen. If they have done things wrong, then Man City are finished. I would kick them out of the league. I would take the titles off them, and they can start again from and do it properly.
Very harsh take from Mark Goldbridge there, saying just take all the titles off them, kick them out of the league. No, I'd say there are simpler things to do rather than simply just boot them out the Prem, relegate them. I think that's a bit too harsh.
I actually think it might not have a bad impact on Man City in the short term. If they can generate that siege mentality that everyone's against us, that can be quite inspiring on the pitch.
Now, if they get relegated, that is very damaging, even in the short term. Like they won't have that Premier League revenue. Not being in the Premier League, that's a massive blow to your income. I get that having that mentality that everybody's against you can kind of rile you up and make you more determined to get wins under your belt. But I just think the whole thing of them, if they do get their titles stripped from them and then being in the championship and all these different things, I don't see how that's even in the short term. I still say it's definitely a negative.